Good evening, everybody. I really hope you're well. So we are going to be talking about what it is to be a blood cell or stem cell donor. Hello.
Hello Claire, how are you?
I'm really good. You look so cozy and snuggly.
Yeah, we're still kind of fighting the snow, we've had I don't know, two snowstorms in just, as many weeks, and it's been nuts. My kitchen could be delivered, and
Oh
it's
my
so yeah.
God. I've actually sat here with I just taken my scarf off actually. I've been so cold today. I'm sat next to the radiator, freezing.
Oh, so good.
Freezing. Thank you so much for joining
Of
me.
course.
We've been talking for such a long time about getting you on a live, and it's happened. So I'm just going to introduce you to everyone that's joining us. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Stephanie, we met through Instagram and through our Dig Me fitness
Right,
connection, didn't we?
right.
And so I've been doing a series of lives over the last few months, and the reason I wanted to get you on in particular is because you are not only a fellow Dig Me fan, but you are a real life lifesaver.
Yeah, and honestly, only in the preparation of this live, I was aware I'm one of 90,000 people, 90,000 and a bit plus people worldwide having been able to donate stem cells. I actually thought, because, the stem cell donation that I did is already like 11 years ago. So pretty much the, on the day. So that's already so long ago, and kind of I thought like, oh, certainly, like, it's such an easy thing to do, so more people probably do that, and certainly they find more matching donors. But I just realized, no, there's not
7 years
so
ago
much awareness.
to the day.
Almost, yeah. I think it was actually the 8th of February, but yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So we connected through Dig Me. Then we had this connection through DKMS, which it kind of blows my mind, really. But
Totally.
you're not living in the UK now, are you? You're over in Germany?
Yeah, at the moment I actually over in Germany because my mom's had some major surgery during the first lockdown. So, and
Yeah.
then, well, as it went on, I kind of just stayed here because it was somewhat better to just stay in one place and be here. And so many, really so many treatments and rehab was being affected by lockdown. So yeah, I think it was a good thing. So yes, I'm still here.
Is she okay?
Yeah, it's really going well. Like, half a kilometer with a dog is fine by now, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
It's
And
really, yeah.
normally you live in London, is that right?
I actually went to school at the I was at the Erdem for, so it's like an academy for like musical theatre, performing arts. So this is when I spent in, oh, I don't know, I think like 1996, 1997, 1998. So around
Okay.
this time, I spent a couple of years in London, then later came back actually. I've lived all over the world, so I've lived in Sydney as well.
Do you know, I was picking up this Australian accent and I'm thinking, that's not a German. That's not Australian.
It's not. It's also not. It's kind of a. I've worked in South Africa, and it's just fun, really, like, I
Accents
kind of
coming
picked
through.
up whatever I wanted to pick up wherever I was. So yes, I lived in the UK, and this is part of the. I don't know. It's a bit of a crazy fact of this whole stem cell donation, because having lived in the UK at the end of the 90s kind of made me no longer eligible for this person that was waiting for my stem cells, because that was the time of mad cow disease, so
Right,
BSE.
so let's go back to the beginning.
It was crazy.
I'm just going to rewind you, be really rude and interrupt you just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So DKMS, as we know, stem cells, it's so easy to do your swabs, right?
Totally.
So just going back to the very, very beginning, in order to become on the stem cell register, you need to, these are my demo ones, so they look really horrible. You just need to send off your little swabs. So swabbing in the cheek. Having done, God, COVID tests for the last 18 months or so now.
Exactly.
sticking a little swab in the back of your cheek is nothing, is it? Absolutely nothing. So you let those
Absolutely.
air dry, you pop those in your little pouch, and you send that off. So you did that. What inspired you to say, right, I'm going to stick my name on the register. I want to be a potential stem cell donor. Can you remember that time?
I actually can remember. So I never needed to order a kit for my swab, but I think it was my first or my second day. So definitely one of the very first ones at work. So after I studied medicine, I worked at a uni hospital, and there was like one of those events DKMS organizes, and I was pretty new to walking along there, and I was like, oh, actually that sounds pretty awesome, I'm going to do it. And so I didn't even think about it, I just did it.
Do you know, I did exactly the same thing when I was a student nurse.
Yeah, there we
Just
go.
picked it up, right. Didn't even cross my mind. Well,
There we
it
go.
crossed my mind that it would be a really amazing thing to do. It crossed my mind that it was a really important, essential thing to do, but it didn't cross my mind that it wouldn't be something I shouldn't do. Does that make
Right.
sense? Is that in the right order?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, like, they had all these flyers and information, and I thought, like, well, that is not even halfway as giving a kidney. So, donating a kidney. Also, that is just like a couple of blood cells. So I kind of course, I had an idea of, like, how's our blood composed, and so I thought, like, that sounds pretty awesome. And then I did it. But to be honest, I think I never expected really to be one who could potentially save a life. And then I think it was only like 2 years later, on New Year's Eve, I got on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
That was crazy. That was crazy. We were on holidays, and I got this phone call, and it was like, we actually think you could probably be a good match for someone. And I thought, like, what a way to end the year. I can't believe it.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps.
That was crazy. And then I think they phoned back the next day. So first they wanted to check whether I'm kind of still interested and would be willing. And then I think it was already the next day that they phoned back, and they were like, well, but actually we would need to almost tomorrow. I was like, oh gosh, we're on holidays. So we cut the holidays short. It was not too far away. We cut them short. And then I had quite a funny experience, because normally you don't know where you are donating to, so you don't know where,
of course, where
your recipient, where your recipient lives. But at this time, I don't know whether it's still the same. Probably it is. But at this time, so 11 years ago, I would just be informed that my stem cells would go to the US, just because of very particular, procedures, starting with, normally you just pop in at, if we've got one of the DKMS centers around, or so, you just pop in, or it could even be your GP sending them the blood for finer or for fine typing, so seeing if you are really a match, because the swab is just like a good overview. You could potentially be
it's like it raises a flag, isn't it? This potentially.
Absolutely. So I really had to go for fine tuning then, and for fine typing then. And it was probably my stem cells would be going to the US. They sent a courier. They sent someone.
A courier
to the closest airport. So that was like 100 kilometers away.
Yeah.
And this courier would stand while the doc at DKMS would take my blood. It was insanely much. It was completely crazy. I can remember this quite well, because I was meant to do surgery myself like an hour later. And it was like so much blood. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a little dizzy.
So you were going to go into surgery to perform an operation?
Yeah, I would always do surgery on Fridays.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a bit crazy, and so they kept for some.
You're like a double lifesaver. You're saving other people's lives in your day-to-day job, and then you just donated your stem cells.
It was crazy, but they really cared for me. I got some good breakfast. I could do this, so nobody got harmed. Yeah, so just to make that clear, nobody got harmed.
I'm just in awe of what you've just said.
And this courier would stand beside the doc who was taking my blood, collecting these tubes, and then be off to the US. And everyone was like, US, when you're donating to the US, it is always completely crazy. So they didn't trust the local labs, or not even the national ones, actually. And they would be like, we want to, you know, we want to check. So, guess what? I was a match. So I think it took only about a week or so. I couldn't really say. Maybe it was 10 days. Yeah. So, but we just figured out I was a match. And then kind of we really had to be pretty fast in organizing everything. So you normally get a like a very thorough.
Can you remember how many days it was since that time, and then you found out that you were? Can you remember how many? Because it's quite crucial, isn't it? It's quite speedy.
Yeah, I would say not more than 14 to 18 days, not more.
Wow.
Really not more. So because otherwise I wouldn't have been done.
Year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so true. But it can't have been much more because otherwise I wouldn't have been done on the 8th of February.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah, that really that wasn't much time then, and they are so perfectly organized. So I didn't really have to do anything. I just, you know, I had to follow the instructions, got this very thorough examination, and then US specific. So if you're not donating to the US, you're not going to encounter these things.
Yeah.
There's a health questionnaire, and one of the questions was, have you lived in the UK during, I don't know, I think it was 1990s to 2000s or so. And obviously I ticked this box, and the doc said to me, why did you live there? You know, I was like, I went to school. Yeah, you know, and they were like, oh, that's going to get you into trouble because mad cow disease, and they're going to say, sorry, but you're no longer eligible. And I was like, okay.
You can't tell me that.
Like, you're just checking my blood. You can see I'm fine, you know. And they said, hang on there. In a couple of days, they're going to come back and they're going to say, the patient is actually so sick, we are accepting even your blood.
Wow.
Or your stem cells.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, you know, that's not really a kind treatment, but I don't care because, you know, someone's life depends on it. So I was just like, you know, whatever they say about me, I don't care. We just go ahead.
Yeah.
It happened 3 days later. They were like, yeah, sorry, our patient is so sick. We actually would accept your stem cells. That's the mad part about it.
So not only is the patient going through, you know, the recipient going through a roller coaster, you're going through a roller coaster as well, because New Year's Eve you get the call to say that you're a match for somebody. Amazing. And then you went through that roller coaster of, I am a match, but
I am not.
But now they're not so sure because of the mad cow disease. And really? And then actually, yes, you can. So my gosh, your brain must have been all over the place.
It was kind of, I don't know, but I really think I was quite like, okay, whatever they say about me, I really don't care. They are testing me, you know, inside out. So we just go ahead. It was nuts. And they said to me, US is really an exception, and everyone who donates to the US will kind of go through something like this. And they did know how to handle it, and so kind of it really all went well.
And I guess it's all private healthcare as well, isn't it? So it's slightly different than over here because we're so lucky to have the NHS, right? So yeah,
absolutely. So I didn't really care. They asked me what feels like 10,000 times, like, you can drop out anytime. And I was like, guys, someone's waiting for my stem
I'm here for this. Hurry up.
How could I drop out? Are you kidding me? And then all I had to do actually was really inject some growth factor, like some sort of hormone, GCSF.
Yeah.
For, I think actually it was a bit longer than 5 days. Nowadays it is 5 days.
Nowadays it's 5 days, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think back then it was a bit more than this. They said probably you're going to be, you know, like one of the lucky ones because you're quite small, quite short. So probably you're not going to have many side effects. I actually really didn't. So I worked until the very last moment. And then one morning, so the date was set, and one morning I was picked up from home, was driven to the hospital.
Just to explain to the people that are listening, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. If you've got any questions, please pop them in. But the GCSF is a growth stimulating hormone, isn't it? Which basically just stimulates your blood cells just to increase it. so that you can happily donate your stem cells. And yeah, they've basically got the maximum they can possibly get. Is that right?
Yeah, and also the good thing about the injection is, and I think that must be around 90% of all donations by now. So you normally would find your stem cells in your bone marrow.
That's right.
But after injecting, you do find them in your bloodstream. So you can really lie in hospital bed, one needle here, one needle there, you know, one way out, filtering, the other way in again, and then it's done. It's done. So yeah, that was really fine. And yeah, as I say, I was picked up, driven to the hospital, and honestly, I would spend 2 days, like 5-6 hours per day in a hospital bed. I had to do it for 2 days because I'm, like I said, I'm a tiny person, so it sometimes takes a little longer to collect all those stem cells. They would arrange where I was allowed to sleep overnight. I didn't need to stay on the ward. And yeah, so as I said, I was lying in this hospital bed. I had a needle in one arm, I had a needle in the other arm, because kind of really there's a huge machine in front of you, or at the end of the bed rather. So your whole blood is being extracted the one arm, then stem cells are filtered out in the machine.
That's right.
And you get the rest back.
Yeah.
That's it. They placed a mini DVD player on my tummy. I think never in my life, never ever have I watched so many DVDs in one setting.
Well, I think things have advanced so much now that I think it only takes about 4 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it takes as long now, which is, my God, how bizarre, how quickly in a decade things have changed so much, haven't they? But yeah, that's so incredible. You were just awake and just busy saving a life. It's amazing.
It was really so if you think of, I remember lots of people asking me like, oh, you're going to have general anesthesia, and then it was like, they're not going to take anything from my pelvic bones anymore. They just don't do that. It is, I mean, literally you get spoiled in this hospital bed, like seriously. That's what I did. Yeah, so it was just 2 days, but that's fine. And I think actually it must have been probably now a year ago that I had my last checkup. So you are being checked up for 10 years.
Okay.
You get letters regularly. I think the first one is about half a year later, and then it's a year later, and then it's like 2, 5, 10 or so, because they do want to know whether what you inject does have any sort of side effect, long-term effects, or whether stem cell donation in itself has any effect on health. And I mean, initially I said it's only like 90,000 plus people having donated, but on the other hand, when it comes, so this is not enough, but in order to know about side effects or any long-term effects, 90,000 in what is a controlled trial in research, this is, you do feel
a lot
safe.
of people.
Please feel safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying, it's only 2% of the population in the UK that are on the register. And when you think about how many swabs we've been doing from a COVID point of view, and you think this is so simple, but the problem is it's so thin, so it can come through the post and it can easily get stuck or lost in between. So the important thing is it's not only to register, and I'll add a little I'll add my link when I save it all to live. It's not only important to register, but it's also really, really important to do the swabs and then send them back. And I know that sounds a really daft thing to say, but I've had people going, oh God, you've reminded me, I've got it, it's here, I've just not done it yet.
Yeah.
These kits cost £40. So I'm not sure how much that is over in euros. Do you know what that conversion is?
£40, probably around 48 euros.
Okay, but just to be clear, that that doesn't cost anybody anything apart from DKMS. And that's why the fundraising is so important, because they have to pay for it all to go off to the labs and to be processed and to receive them and send them out.
Right.
So it's really, really crucial. But I know that you're joining me on my mission to get that 2% way higher, way higher.
I looked up some statistics today, and I must admit, I was really, I mean, of course, it's for me, it is so easy to say. I was in the environment of a uni clinic, or uni hospital,
Yeah.
and there was this promotion. I didn't even need to order the swab, so that was pretty easy. But overall, honestly, I would think twice before donating a kidney, because I know
Yeah.
that is a lot more for me to take. There's lots more risks for me. Whereas stem cells, I would donate them any time again. So it's what they take out of your body, like as I said, this filtering machine. You do build this again, so everything is rebuilt. All these cells
This is
are
it. Our
rebuilt
body.
after 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Our body is so incredible, isn't it, at rejuvenating blood cells and getting yourself back to where you were. To me, it's a no-brainer. To me,
Yeah.
this is the sort of thing that should happen, when because to be on the register for DKMS, you're anywhere between 17 and 55. When you're 17, you can register, but you can't donate. You can't give your stem cells until you're 18. And then when you're 55, you can no longer go on the register, but you'll stay on the register until you're 61. So there's still time. I've been on the register since I was well, actually, I went to the anti-nona register first.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I found out about it. And then obviously you transfer onto the DKMS
Okay.
register.
Okay.
So
Amazing.
for years, and I'm still waiting for that phone. I'm still waiting for that phone call.
I hope. I hope.
So
I
have
was.
you have you had the opportunity to meet or contact the person that received your stem cells?
I would have had the opportunity, but I have to admit I never did it.
Okay,
I didn't want to be influenced by the outcome
sure,
of this treatment
sure.
because, as I said, I was so clear about I would do this anytime
Yeah.
again. And I think it would influence me if I knew it didn't go so well or it
Okay.
didn't go well for long. So this is why I never did it. Though I do think about it, I don't know, at least 5 times a year because I think, well, if it all went very well and this person is now healthy and recovered,
Yeah.
they probably would want to say thank you. So I'm
Oh
kind
my
of,
God.
I
Yes.
have probably, I don't know, I'm a little bit torn. I'm a little bit torn between this. No, I just want to go for it again when they ask, or if they ask, if they ask ever again. And I don't want to know. I just want to have this positive mindset of, maybe someone's getting a second chance at life with my stem cells. So yeah, it's, I don't know, it's a difficult one.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the other thing about not only registering to be on the register, but it's also we've just not had the opportunity to meet anybody, have we? So when you were saying before about how there were these events and you just went along and you just picked up a swab and off you went, those events haven't been happening,
Right.
obviously,
Right.
worldwide because of COVID. So not
Right.
only has the we're kind of hovering at this 2%, but as
Mm.
people reach 61, they drop off.
Mm.
As if, for example, someone got sick and they were therefore not able to donate,
Right.
they drop off. So you're not only having to kind of keep that, well, 2%, it just makes me want to cry.
Mm.
So not only do you want to keep that 2% high, but you're already chasing the numbers that are
Right.
falling off. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's been no donor drives. That sounds a bit weird, but there's been no events that you can just happily go off and organise
Right.
because we haven't been able to go out.
Yeah.
So
Right.
thankfully, due to social media and the internet, the World Wide Web, and
Mm-hmm.
that all the technology that we have now, this is what we're having to do to make sure that these little envelopes get back to where they belong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, so data for the US, approximately every 3 minutes, one person in the US is diagnosed with one of the three most common blood cancers, the three DKMS
Yeah.
targets. Um, And this means this is around 186,400 persons per year for the US. And it is, no surprise, not different in the UK or
No, it's
overseas.
not. Yeah.
So in the UK, that is around 40,000 persons per year, which is just a flipping lot.
Absolutely. And you would hope that, you know, a family member would be able to donate, but I think it's 30%.
Yeah.
It's only 30% of
Yeah.
people who are diagnosed with a blood cancer that needs a stem cell
Yeah.
transplant are a match.
Yeah.
So
And that
then
is,
it blows your mind, doesn't
yeah,
it? Blows your
absolutely.
mind. And
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if the stats have changed, but when I last checked, I think it was every 35 seconds, someone somewhere in the world is diagnosed with blood cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Probably, yeah, for worldwide, this, yeah.
and we are so used to statistics. I mean, we talk about swabs being, you know, part of our everyday life at the moment,
Right.
but we are so used to statistics. I'm not sure what it's like in Germany, but when you know, when we first went into lockdown in March 2020, you know, every day there was a different statistic about how many people had been diagnosed with COVID and how many hospitalizations there were, and and numbers just became a big part of our
Right.
life. But then when you take that back to blood cancer, and you realize that every 35 seconds there's someone in the world has just received that shock
Right.
diagnosis. Oh, that gives me goosebumps for a different reason, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I think as far as I know, blood cancers, I mean, there are different forms of blood cancers, but
Absolutely.
if we just sum it up as one group of blood
Yeah.
cancers, then they are the fifth most common cancer. So this means, you know, there are only four more that are more common ones even. So that is pretty high prevalence.
Yeah.
And it also means we probably know someone who at some point in their life is going to be affected. And then we should know that, you know, even though treatment for blood cancer really is like way more effective than for other cancers, it doesn't mean everyone is going to be cured. And some will not respond well to the treatment, or like their body will not respond well, or not respond in a way that we would hope with the treatment, like chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And so they need this donation, and then there's only a 30% chance of finding someone within your family that could be
exactly
a match. So it's not much then, and suddenly it looks very dire, I would say.
Yeah. Well, it is when you realize that only 2% of people are on the register.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my big mission this year, because I'm 50 on Sunday, is to raise 50k. Must be bonkers. 50k in my 50th year for DKMS. So it's not all about that big pocket of money. It's about having conversations like this. It's about having conversations around creating more awareness about the numbers, but also creating awareness that these swabs are so easy to do. And you've done it, and you got the call. You got that magic golden ticket call,
Mm-hmm.
and you do it again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. And honestly, it is easy from the very beginning to the end. You know, it starts with the swap, then you get this phone call. All you need to do is say, okay, I'm still willing. So the only thing really you have to do is make up your mind and say, I'm still willing
It's great
to donate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course there is this fine typing, and then you need to be the match. So for some, it's not going to happen even though they got this call.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you look closer at how our cells structured, and, you know, we all know now spike proteins from COVID things. So certain things expressed on the cell surfaces, if they don't match, okay, it's not going to work out. But
absolutely, it has to be right.
Yeah, but if it does, so yeah, okay, you have some more blood taken, you have some thorough assessments like ECG and EEG, and I think I had a thorax radiograph. So you fill in this questionnaire. Next time you see them, you inject yourself this GCSF. 5 days later, you are being picked up at home, spoiled in your hospital bed, and you go home, and that was it.
Incredible. Incredible. Oh my goodness. If anyone's got any questions, please pop them in the box. And give us some little love hearts for gorgeous Stephanie, who is, like I say, she's not only a real life lifesaver because she's donated her stem cells. It's incredible. I cannot stop smiling. I've got like.
It is. It's always, you know. Of course, I don't think about this every day anymore, or so. But I do think about it quite a couple of times per year, and every time I really go like, I can't believe how easy that was. It was perfectly organized. I mean, of course, you know, that's 90% of it probably. It was perfectly organized. I think because I could, you know, I wasn't allowed to work for 2 days, so these 2 days that I spent in hospitals, so they would pay. I was working at the uni hospital myself, so I mean that was easy for them. So, but kind of they would pay my department for me not being there, and you cannot ask for more, really.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just feel so happy to have this conversation with you, because it's, you know, sometimes we can feel overwhelmed in our everyday lives anyway. And then, oh, my niece has just arrived. Hi, Karis. Yeah, sometimes we can feel so overwhelmed in our everyday life. We're like, oh, it's just a normal thing. I just don't know. I don't know enough about it. You know, it worries me. I'm maybe needle phobic, or, you know, it sounds too much. It sounds too scary. But you've been able to enlighten everybody that it's not. It is probably the biggest, well, it is the biggest gift we can give, and all for 3 little, I call them cotton buds. They're a bit like you know, before COVID, it was like, oh, they're little bit like earbuds, but actually now it's just like that's
Honestly,
it. There's no little syringes. There's nothing. That's it.
They're so much better than any COVID test.
I know. It's basically a pleasure. So please register. Like I say, I'll add the link so that you can register. And the other thing I want to tell you about, I don't know if I've had the opportunity to tell you about this, but I'm doing a raffle this month.
Yeah.
So I have over £2,000 worth of prizes, which have been really generously donated by friends and gorgeous brands who are becoming friends, or that are friends already. And how it works is by donating £5, which basically covers the cost of the postage for each swab, that gets you a ticket into the draw. And so if you donate £5, that's 1 ticket. If you donate £10, 2 tickets, and so on. And then we will do the draw. So it's going on all throughout February, and I'll do the draw on the 1st of March. So yeah, we will send you the gifts. There are loads. There's £100 of I'm just going to see if I got them here. Oh yeah, here it is. There are £100 worth of vouchers for the basket company. BAM, do you remember BAM? They have sent a hot look. This is full. It's full of the most gorgeous socks.
Oh, amazing.
There's £100 of socks here from BAM. If you know BAM socks, you will be wanting more than 1 ticket. And £50 worth of vouchers. And then my gorgeous friend Helen, who is so talented, look what she's painted.
Amazing. Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
Oh, I'm like, I said to her, is it unethical for me to put a donation in? But we have so many amazing prizes. I've just done a reel today, so you'll be able to see all the different prizes. But yeah, so they've donated that in return for £5 a ticket. Every £5 donation will get you a ticket. And I mean, I've just got to show you this again. Isn't this stunning? She's so clever.
Absolutely amazing.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, really, everyone, just please support this cause.
So important. It's so important. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like I just need to let everyone go so we can just carry on talking. But please come on again. Please come on again. Actually, next month, so this month's mission, so I'm doing different missions throughout the year. So this month's is I'm doing a 5K. We're organising a pop-up swab
Top.
event
Amazing.
is the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. I need to get my brain working. And also we're doing the raffle next month. Lisa and myself. So Lisa, gorgeous lady. She had leukemia. She's recovered. She's doing great. And her and I are cycling we're cycling to come and see you. So we're doing a virtual cycle from DKMS HQ in London, just virtually. And I don't know why I'm doing that, but you know, virtually. And we're going to be cycling to DKMS HQ in Germany, which is where the whole charity was founded.
That's pretty close, actually. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, amazing!
So we're doing 10 miles a day each, and then that can every day in March for 31 days, and then that will get us from London HQ to Germany HQ. So if you want to join me for one day, we'll do a live chat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll get them in. I keep saying to Digme, come on, Digme, you need to get involved in it.
Please, come on.
So yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You are an absolute inspiration. You really are.
Thank you. I must admit, kind of, it really all happened by chance.
But that's it, isn't it? That's it. It's like, that's the difficulty thing is, it's like a needle in a haystack, and it's.
We just need really more people. More donors. I was really like, what? I'm one of only like 90,000 worldwide. That is not so much, actually. I was really a little bit like, whoa.
You're a part of a really, really exclusive club that everybody wants. Most people that know about DKMS and how amazing this charity is want to be a part of, and it's like, please let us in. So yeah, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for picking up that swab kit all those years ago. 11 years ago. It's incredible. Incredible. And thank you for sharing your story this evening, because it's just amazing. And I just really hope that we can inspire some people to register, donate, buy a raffle ticket. 3 things. It's not much.
All of it. Right. Thank you so much, Claire. Have
so
a lovely
good to
evening.
Speak to you. Thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.